Alright, so here we go. We're going to start the removal of the front clip on this. It shouldn't be too terrible. Should just be to pop the trim pieces off and pretty much go from there. I love e36s. So that was pretty easy. Basically you pop the trim pieces off and then there's 4 nuts that you undo. You got 2 here, and then over here you've got 2 as well. And then once you do that, you can pretty much slide the front bumper right off it.
The headlights aren't too bad, you just have to remember the 2 bolts that are right behind them. Now to remove the upper valance, you have a couple bolts that you have to undo on the upper radiator support, and also on either side of the car, right to the fender, there's some bolts you have to undo as well, so that way you can pull that upper valance right off.
It's not too bad. We've got some other stuff we gotta remove here. Condenser fan. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for my intercooler. I wanna have AC. It's a black car. Although it gets really cold up here, it also gets pretty hot, and I wanna have air conditioning. That's the way of it. So I'm gonna have to figure something out to make sure the condenser is in an okay spot. Eventually I'll have to figure out plumbing and stuff like that for getting that to work. But other than that, it's coming along pretty good. The rest of it's not gonna be too difficult. I already have most of the upper part of the hood support taken care of, and then it'll be pulling the radiator and doing stuff like that. So.
right now I'm gonna air the car up just so I can fit the jack underneath it. And then once I do that, I'll start on lifting the front end, and then I'll work my way to the back. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite cracker. I'm sure you guys are probably pretty sick and tired of listening to elevator music, and I'm sure your ears are probably bleeding from all the EDM, so I'm just going to do a voiceover and tell you guys just a bunch of things that are just floating through my mind at the moment. Currently, my block is at McQuillan's Race Shop out in Leroy. The guy does amazing work. He's currently putting in a set of BCHD rods and a set of Diamond Racing pistons and ACL race bearings, and I got some oversized valves that he's putting in. Got some springs and retainers that he's doing, valve seals, the whole works. Obviously going through, he's going to port the head as well. He went through and he balanced the engine. Guy does awesome work. I've brought all of my machine work that I've needed to have done to him, and I've never been dissatisfied. Guy's really big in the V8 world, but I don't really do V8s too much, so I bring all my Japanese shit to him, and takes care of me. The guy does pretty well. He's got some good stories. He's been around for a long while. His dad used to run the place before him, and I'm sure he's learned a lot from him. So definitely a place if you're up in the Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse, even if you're in like the southern tier where I live. If you live in New York, I mean I'd send my stuff there, to be honest with you. The guy's super knowledgeable. But anyways, the block's going to stay there until I get a good weekend where I can take and just assemble the whole engine so I have it all closed up. I don't want to have the block sitting on a stand and just collecting dust. That's not what I want. I don't want a bunch of dirt and a bunch of floaters, landed into my engine. So I'll have to pick a good weekend and just get it all done. So that's in the future. But currently, I moved the car up from the lower shop because I work on equipment down in there occasionally, and being that it's in the upper shop, it's kind of out of the way. We don't really bring any of the big trucks or big forklifts or anything like that up there, so that's why you see the change of scenery and whatnot. There's a bunch of stuff I still have to get for this. I still have to get a transmission adapter. I went and bought a Getrag 420G transmission from a e36 M3. It's not the SMG. It's not an SMG converted over to a manual 6-speed. It's just a manual 6-speed. Kind of went through a little bit of hell to get it. I did a lot of searching on the internet. Couldn't find anything. Looked around on eBay, the forums. I mean, you name it. Couldn't find somebody that was selling one reasonably priced. That was a manual 6-speed and not the SMG. And eventually on Craigslist, I tracked down this guy out of Waterbury, Connecticut that had a shop at the back of it was like a taco stand almost. And a little bit of a sketchy area right by the mall there. There was definitely some people that looked like they were on crack or something like that, but I don't know exactly. But anyways, I got to this guy's place and I sat there and I waited for him probably about 30 minutes. And the whole time I'm thinking I'm like going to get robbed or something like that. His buddy ended up showing up, and I asked him, I was like, hey, are you the guy? He goes, nope, we're waiting for somebody else. And I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking, meanwhile, this guy shows up. I'm thinking, okay, another guy's going to show up. They're going to rob me. This is crazy. I'm kind of freaking out a little bit. And then this guy shows up. He shows up in a Raptor, and I'm like, this guy doesn't really look like the type that robs people. And yeah, I mean, the first impression, was kind of right that guy doesn't rob people, because when he opened up his shop door and I saw you know, and the first thing I saw was a air-cooled Porsche, and then the next thing I saw, you know, two E46 M3s in the back, and then I saw a couple of E92s, and they had an M5 in there, and just all kinds of crazy cars. But it was pretty cool. I only paid $1,000 for the transmission. The guy was super nice. Yeah, the guy was pretty much super cool. You know, I was in and out. Um, Ended up being exactly what I was looking for. Um, Little difficult trying to run the part numbers and everything off of it, as I made the mistake of trying to contact BMW, and they said basically, oh, well, we can't cross-reference that for you because it's not a BMW part number. It's the Getrag part number. So I had to contact that company, and I was pretty much in and out of there. It wasn't too bad. But Waterbury, Connecticut is roughly, oh, I want to say it's got to be at least like 4.5 hours from my house. So it was quite a long day for me. But anyways, it was nice to get in and out of there. But anyways, I need a transmission adapter, I need an exhaust manifold, and I got to make up a dump tubes and make up a downpipe, and basically got a bunch of stuff that I still got to order up. I need a clutch and flywheel, just some other things off the top of my head. I'm gonna have to get the. I got a bunch of wiring that I have to still get as well, and a couple of sensors and whatnot. But nothing too major. Other than that, really the big ticket item is the exhaust manifold. I've been kind of holding off on it because I almost want to get the engine in it just so I could see how much room I have, so I know what manifold to get. I know some manifolds kind of stick out quite far, and I'm mildly worried about the passenger strut tower. I kind of don't want the manifold to be hitting it. I don't want to have to cut or do anything like that. You know, I know most places they don't take refunds. So, but anyways, here I am pulling the condenser fan off, and we'll talk about that in a short minute. Here's our fan, just a bunch of bolts around it to hold it on, and you got one connector at the bottom of it. So, anyways, over here, I've got the harness all laid out. And that's your harness that basically is tucked right underneath your upper radiator support here. And it goes to things like you've got a horn over here it goes to, and it tucks pretty much all the way from over there, wraps all the way around, comes up into here. So you've got some AC connections you gotta undo. You got some more horns over here you gotta undo, and then a couple actuators. Pretty much after that, it's, you know, you just gotta undo a bunch of these little clips right here on the bottom side. Yeah, so that's pretty sweet. We got the front end off, and really opens up everything, and it's gonna make life a hell of a lot easier. Yeah, as I said, sorry about my voice. It's getting progressively worse. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think the rest of it's gonna go pretty quick. I'm gonna get the exhaust off of it and start to get everything unmounted, like the drive shaft, and start undoing some of the engine harness stuff, and yeah, get it pretty much ready to pull out. Alright guys, so here's some of the stuff that I have ordered already. As you can tell, I've got quite a bit of stuff so far. I have some more stuff that has already came in, but I didn't make a video of it. But anyways, there's my precision turbo. There's my BCHD rods. There's my dampener and PHR oil pump, Gates belts. And there's my AEM Infinity ECU, 2 fuel pumps, all the sensors for the AEM Infinity, springs and retainers, and AEM carbon digital dash, and a water meth kit. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to subscribe and like the video and keep up with the build.